Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new DC live stream. I'm your host, Matthew Batiri, taking you through some Bitcoin technical analysis. Well, we've got some action in the charts today. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight in. So Bitcoin for the last since the 20th of June has basically been consolidating sideways between 18,000 and 25,000. And as of today, well, actually, since last week when the CPI data was released, we've basically been selling off quite hard since 23,000. So Bitcoin is at 18,400 currently. And right now, it looks like it is going to be pushing for the lows that we achieved on the 13th of June, which is 17,600. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. On a weekly scale, we did print a new weekly candle. So normally what I like to do is we can see that we closed the previous weekly candle at 19,352, and we opened at 21,800. So I'd like to put a line of resistance right here because if we do come back up, I can assure you that that is going to be that's going to be some resistance moving forward. So I'm just going to put a little line here. I'm going to change this to yellow because I like to use yellow for the weekly scale. So I'm just going to weekly. Got this off one of my trading mentors. And if I chuck on market cipher B, we can see that we are still in the red money flow. We did just print a red dot, and the selling has occurred. So what should we expect, I guess, in the next week to month? Well, I was getting quite bullish when we were pushing up towards this trend line last week. I was hoping that we would get a bump and run pattern. And this is a pattern that is very much common in the Bitcoin price action. And this happens every bear run where we basically stay below a trend line. But once we break this trend line, we have a pretty exponential move to the upside. And it is basically the commencement of the preceding bull run. But what we can see right now is that things are kind of looking quite messy. And it looks like that we possibly will end up, well, right now it looks like we're pressed for further selling, and the price that I'm kind of looking at to see this selling occur is basically a close below 18,500. If we close this candle today, it'll close at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but if we close it below these lows here, I do fear that Bitcoin will be headed to the lows. And where do I think Bitcoin will go? Well, let's go back to the weekly scale and let's have a look at some of the price action that we had in the past to see if we have any support. I guess the major one is this golden pocket where Bitcoin got rejected in 2019, and it was the golden pocket from the $20,000 all-time high to the lows that we formed in December 2018. That's going to be, I guess, the first area where I'm thinking we're going to the lowest that I'm looking at. And I've been looking at 13,500 as the low point of this bear run. So is Bitcoin going to get there? Well, it sure looks like it currently with all the selling that's going on. Well, on top of the selling that we're having, we have the FOMC meeting predicting another 3/4 point rise next week, I think it is. So that's not going to sort of help matters in the stock market and also in the cryptoverse. So We did have this trend line basically from the low of 17,600 to the recent low where we formed on the 7th of September. But as you can see, we have broken that. But like I said, a daily close under this trend line. And yeah, I think we're going to be getting a nice big selling or some sale candles, much like what we did back here for the news of the Russia and Ukraine war. So 13,916. Now, I want to tell you a reason why I believed why I believe 13,500 is possible. So I'm going to go to the Brave New Index coin chart. I'm going to just remove some of these lines that I have here. And what we're going to look at, if I just throw on the log scale, we're going to have a look at where Bitcoin retraces basically every bull run. So every bull run, do I want to go from that low? Yeah, I'll just go from this low. So from this low to that low, we don't get a specific number, but I do know that in all previous bull runs, let me just change this template to just the normal golden pocket. And then we're going to add in the, let's go 0.85%. Cool. I'm going to go green. So taking into consideration, not really this bull run, because obviously it was the first Bitcoin bull run. So let's move on to the next bull run right here. So we'll go from this one to here, which was the, I guess you can say, the secondary bull run from this entire two-phase bull run. Let me quickly just draw a fib from there. Okay, yeah, that works as well. So you can see from this 2012 to 2013 bull run, where basically we had a double bull run, a lot of people like to call it, the price came back down to the 0.85 Fibonacci retracement. Okay, you can see we've got a wick down here, which was from the all-time high of 1,150 to $178. Pretty much to the T. It did go a little bit lower. Let's see how low it went. It went to $163.88. Then the next bull run, the 2016, 17, and 18 bull run, you can see that Bitcoin during the bear market retracement came back down to the 0.85 fib retracement. So that basically means Bitcoin loses 85% of its value during the bear market from the previous bull run. You can see here we basically went all the way to 3,103, and to give you an exact number, it was 3,148. So very close, 3,148 compared to the 0.85, which was 3,1303. So what I'm thinking is, if we do the exact same thing that we've done in the previous two bull runs, we go from the low to the high. The 0.85 is at $13,000, and look where it lines up. It lines up with that golden pocket, high that we had back in 2019. Now the golden pocket, if I throw that on, you can see perfectly. So we hit that golden pocket, okay, for the price action retracement, and now I do think that Bitcoin is setting itself up to likely probably come back down to that 0.85, which is at $13,000. So I'm looking for the price to come back down here. And then from there will probably be a very big bounce, much like what we've seen when we have sort of these big bounce collapse. We tend to collapse and then have a really big buy candle the following week. Same here during the Corona dump. Same back here in 2015 where we dumped and then got bought back up. So we basically dumped to 160, and then 2 weeks later we traded close to double the price. Back here, obviously, it wasn't a lot of data because it was obviously a new asset, but we can see that the previous two bull runs that we did get that sort of 0.85 fib retracement. So 13,500, that was where I was kind of looking back when we started this bear run. But like I said, I was getting slightly bullish sort of last week. There was, like I said, a few things that still made me not go 100% all in. So if you watch my video from last Monday, you would have seen me say that I have obviously deployed more funds into the crypto market. However, I'm not yet going all in, purely for the fact that the economic uncertainty for most countries, the energy crisis in Europe that's going on is also putting more pressure on the economy of the European nations. So like I said, hasn't been any good news for a long period of time. And I did believe that the price would probably continue going down. But a lot of indications last week were showing that we could have been breaking that downward trend line that I had sort of marked out. And I'll be happy to mark it out for you guys again. And that is the trend line from the all-time high to the secondary peak that we had on the 28th of March to where we currently are now. So once we do break this downward trend line, I do feel like we are going to get an explosive move to the upside, but it doesn't look like we're breaking that trend line anytime soon. So unfortunately, it looks like the selling will continue. So keep an eye out for that $13,000 price point. I do feel that we're probably going to be coming down quite close to that price. All right, if we look at more local price, we can see, well, just on the charts here, we can see that Ethereum's absolutely taken a pounding. I will jump into Ethereum in a second. But apart from that, let's now go into the 4-hour time frame. So just the more local time frame, we can see that the money flow on the 4-hour is going from green to red. Let me just change that color to something a little bit easier to see. So you can see that we are waving down, and whenever we have a money flow crossover on the higher time frames, we tend to see a lot of selling. So if I quickly just point these out on previous occasions, this was the last time the green money flow went on to the red. We saw that we lost basically, we went from 23,500 to 18,500. Obviously, there's a bit of wishy-washy action back here, but here's another great example of money flow crossing over. So we went from 30,000 all the way down to 17,500, where we had like a decent money flow, green money flow going into the red. And this is exactly the same, pretty decent money flow here. So nice green wave, and it looks like we're about to enter the red wave territory. So I fear that the selling is going to get probably a little bit worse. The only thing in the short period of time is we are in the oversold territory here on the 4-hour. Let's have a look at the daily. The daily still has plenty of room to go. As you can see, we still just crossed over into the bearish zone, which is when the moving averages or the stochastic moving averages move below the 50% mark. So now we're in the bearish zone. So it looks like it obviously wants to sell down even further. And that just, that plus all the negative and news currently, FOMC meeting, it just seems like we're not going to get any break. If I jump into the price action and we look at the value area of this entire sideways range, we can see that the point of control, or it has been sort of moving, it's been going from here to down here where we had the big sell-off last night. So you can take both with a grain of salt. I'm just going to copy that and place that down here as well. So it's interchanging from the point of control at 21,400 and basically 19,850. But right now, the price action is also below the value area low. So let me just move that down here. So we're below the value area low of this entire sideways range. Usually when we go below, we tend to sort of come back into the value area. If we come back into the value area, we tend to head back to the points of control. So look for resistance at 19,800 and 21,400. But from here, let's just say we do get a bump in price, you'll probably see a lot of shorts opening up around 19,100 because that is the value area low of this entire sideways range. So price action, not looking to flash. And on top of that, here we go, we're collapsing as we speak. Here we go. Looks like we might even get this collapse live on air, which would be pretty amazing to sort of witness. Things looking pretty shaky. So I think a few people now in the US probably waking up. Let's have a look at New York time at 2:15 a.m. It's not too early, but these bigger accounts, these are definitely the guys that are going to be are looking to sort of probably push the market down even further. For myself, I'm sort of dollar cost averaging into long positions because I feel like I said, we are close to a bottom. So I'll be adding to some of my positions at these price levels, especially around that $13,000 price range. So that's just my sort of trading mentality because I don't really know where the bottom is going to be. So I just want to start building up these long positions because I feel like we have had a lot of sell off, and the bear market bottom is only around the corner. What I am kind of doing though, I am sort of shopping around some of my favorite altcoins. So if you check out Coin Market Cap, you might be able to just kind of tell one needs to invest. Thanks, Vincent. We can see it's an absolute bloodbath at the moment everywhere. So I'll be definitely making sure I've got some cash on the side to jump in on some of my favorite top 100 coins, because you would assume these are, some of the blue chip investments. Some coins I'm looking at is definitely BNB, Cardano, Polkadot, Matic, Avalanche, Cosmos, Uniswap, Chainlink. So these are all sort of on my buy list, and especially when I feel like Bitcoin has bottomed, I'll probably be buying a few of those altcoins as well. Alrighty, so that's basically with Bitcoin. It seems like that, the breakdown is inevitable. So be aware of that. Let's move on to Ethereum. That's basically just gone into full sell mode since the ETH merger announcement. So all this price action was obviously by the news. By the rumor, and now we've got the sell the news action, which is completely normal when a lot of assets have big upgrades coming out, or there's a new release for even stocks. This occurs in stocks, guys, so don't think it's just a crypto thing. But right now we're obviously pushing down quite rapidly with Ethereum. We are at the golden pocket, so maybe we'll get a bit of a bounce here, because we also had resistance back here, which should turn into support. So we might see a slight bounce here at 1,270. The other lines on my chart I probably haven't updated for a while, because I haven't been trading Ethereum. I like to only trade Bitcoin during the bear market, because everything sort of follows Bitcoin. But if we do a similar thing to Ethereum that we did for Bitcoin, where we draw just a nice and easy trend line, we can see that basically Ethereum's got a fair bit of work to do to come back into like its bull market. Places where I'm looking to buy Ethereum, let me share those with you. So we've got this trend line from the 2019 bounce to this bounce right here. So I've drawn this really simple trend line. I do think that if Ethereum does come back down, maybe we get support of this trend line, which right now sits around $800 to $850 US. So I'll be looking to obviously make some purchases of Ethereum basically below 850. Not financial advice, that's just what I'm doing. Let's have a quick look at where Ethereum is on a macro scale. So on a macro scale, the 0.85 fib retracement is pretty close to the my buy zone, which is just under $850. So guys, the outlook for the current market isn't looking too good. If we quickly have a look at maybe the pre-markets, I like to look at the pre-markets on CNN. We can see that things are going to be looking quite red as well on the normal stock market. Unfortunately, crypto market has not yet decoupled from the normal old school financial markets. So this also tells me a lot of information about what's probably likely going to happen at open, which I believe is around 11:30 p.m. Australian time. That's when New York opens. So I probably expect some action to occur at that time as well. Alrighty, guys, that is it for the Bitcoin TA. If you want to join me on Wednesday, you can. On Wednesday, I do a altcoin technical analysis. So all you need to do is like, subscribe, and notify. Have your notifications turned on our channel. You'll be able to check out the altcoin TA videos. I do them every Wednesday. I do Bitcoin and Ethereum every Monday. So please feel free to jump on these live streams. You also have money mindset and personal development on Thursdays with Wasim. So feel free to spend a little bit more time during whilst you're watching these channels. All right, guys, that is it from me. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your week, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the DC live stream. That's it for now. Bye.